So I'm back with another review. Today's is going to be about mechanical pencils. As you can see, a lot of mechanical pencils here behind me. What inspired today's review was inspired on a sort of a random whim, if you will. I was just writing something down and it just happened to be one of those cheap BIC mechanical pencils. Just like this one right here. So your traditional, cheap, if not the cheapest mechanical pencil out there. I happen to love these pencils so much. A couple years ago I actually started collecting them. This collection is what I what I like to call an active collection, simply because I don't just store it all. I keep using the pencils. So let's dive straight into it. So as you can see, they come in a lot of colors, a lot of different colors. The colors themselves don't really mean much as the actual names or the titles of the. The reason why I like these pencils so much is they claim, the manufacturer claims that they're disposable. I don't like to use them as such. Some of the older pencils, as you'll see, claim to be not refillable, but that is not true. All of these pencils, all of these cheap BIC mechanical pencils, no matter the diameter of the lead, are in fact refillable, which is great. So nowadays, as opposed to the old days where they used to have only 0.5 and 0.7 millimeter leads, nowadays the assortment has expanded to 0.9 millimeter pencil, which is great because you can put different grades of the 0.9 to achieve a bold, thick line when laying it down, or you can go to the more precise 0.5, whichever suits your fancy. So over here back behind me I have dare I say, all the mechanical pencils throughout the years as they came. I was actually able to acquire some of the vintage, really old, one of the first ones, early 90s, early 2000s BIC pencils that look quite different from the ones that you can get your hands on nowadays. And there's really no difference between them, but for me they sort of carry a sentimental value. Because that's what I grew up on using, and ever since then I've loved these pencils so much that I don't go anywhere without one being in my pocket or in my pencil case. But so what I've done, I sort of a timeline of BIC mechanical pencils, if you will, from the oldest that I was able to scare up on the internet. On eBay particularly. I was lucky enough to get a few brand new ones still in unopened packaging. I mean, since then I've opened the packaging, but they came in brand new, which is pretty rare. So as you can see here, all the pencils are sporting pretty much the same design. It's remained the same since the early 1990s up until now. It's the same hexagonal barrel with the clip and the attached eraser. Now where the differences start is that the early 90s they started off with the opaque black barrel or gray. Whoops. The difference between the black and the gray back in the day is the black represented the 0.7 millimeter lead and the gray one was 0.5. The earlier ones are actually sporting the color-coded eraser holder up here on top. Notice on the clip it actually only says BIC pencil. The later ones they say BIC and usually pencil number 2 or the actual diameter of the lead. That is, as far as I know, the only designed the early 1990s that actually are represented in that way. So as you go down the line to the early 2000s, BIC actually retained the color coding mechanism where the black barrel is the 0.7 diameter lead, whereas the gray is the 0.5 lead. Notice that they also started using the clear hexagonal barrel as opposed to the black or gray opaque ones. The later pencils, some of the later pencils also sport the opaque color, like these. They call them BIC Matic combos, which I haven't been able to get ever since. I think I got them some 5 odd years ago. The package looks like this. It was actually 8 plus 2 free pencils, and those barrels were opaque. And usually they sported one color, and the clip and the tips were usually the same color, or as an example, this green pencil right here, the tip and the clip and the eraser holder are slightly darker. Like I said, haven't been able to find these anymore. Then you move on, and these right here are in no particular order, as I have no idea in which order they actually came out. So starting with the clear pink pencil right here, this is sort of the 2005 to present day, basically. You can still get all of them. It just depends on your store. All of these pencils were acquired by me online or eBay or Target. Target usually carries a vast majority of all of these pencils. It just depends on the time of the year, I guess. Usually back to school sales have a whole bunch of them at a pretty attractive prices. So that's the timeline. To the best of my knowledge and ability, this is how they came out. Like I said, the later ones, they all kind of just showed up and popped on the market. And my personal favorite ones are the opaque black ones, but like I said, it's mostly sentimental, and I've been really excited to get them online. They're pretty hard to come by, but you know, if you keep at it, if you just keep monitoring eBay, there's always a seller who puts them on sale or something like that. So I've been fortunate enough to actually snatch a few packs like that. One of them was an auction. A bunch of them were used, but just recently I found an auction of 14 of them. I actually put them all in this cup, where they're all brand new. Some of them carry signs of storage, but they're all unused. One of the rarest ones that I discovered is this early 1990s black opaque BIC pencils with the white clip. For the longest time I couldn't find one with the white clip. Again, nothing spectacular about it. It's just the rarity of it made it even more intriguing to get my hands on it. So generally speaking, I love these pencils, the way they write. Now you have 3 grades of leads that you can use. The only thing I do not like, and that's true of the earlier pencils, is the frickin' eraser. On the earlier ones, the eraser's black, and it seems to be this plastic, really smooth substance. I don't know. I don't think it's natural rubber. It's got to be synthetic rubber. But it does a piss poor job of erasing. And I mean, ever since I started writing with these pencils back in the day when I was a little kid, I hated the eraser. You could not erase anything with it. And it doesn't matter what kind of pencil it is. If it's a hard lead, soft lead, charcoal, or whatnot, it does not erase well. If you can avoid using the eraser on top of the pencil, then do that. The black ones really do suck. Now, as the years went by, they switched to the white erasers, which are slightly better, but again, it depends on the pencil and I guess the year. Some of the ones actually sport this silver eraser on top, which is just as shitty as the black one. So when it comes to erasers on top of these pencils, BIC is not doing a great job of it. Seldom find myself actually using the eraser on top of my mechanical pencil anyway, so it doesn't bother me all too well. I mainly just use them as a cap so the leads that are in the barrel don't escape. Alright, so moving on. Every one of these pencils, no matter what time you bought them, they all consist of 3 leads. So there's 3 leads within a pencil, and like I mentioned earlier, the earlier packs state that they are non-refillable. Some of the earlier ones, because on the new ones, all you do, you just pop off the eraser right here and refill your lids. The earlier ones, the eraser holder up here is so cinched to the eraser that you cannot in fact pop it off and refill the leads. What you do, you just front load them. You just carefully, you press the eraser, assuming you don't have any lead over there, you just put it down at the little tip right here and slowly shove the lead back into the pencil, and that's it. And I think most leads that I've been able to load the pencil with was about 10 leads at a time, and that's plenty. So all of them are refillable, so don't toss them. Another thing that I noticed BIC does is that as the years went by, they sort of started distinguishing the packaging. So what they came up with is these different names. So you can see that some of the pencils say extra life on them. And they tell you that they last about 2.5 times longer than your regular conventional wooden pencil. I've come to find out that just purely depends on your writing style. If you write a lot and if you have a heavy hand, then that's clearly going to affect the life of your pencil. So extra life, the extra life pencils come in 0.7mm lead. Then they have ones that says extra precision, and those are the ones that come in 0.5mm lead, and they usually, like I said, they retain the gray scheme, the gray color coding of the pencil. Even on these metallic barrel ones, they still have that silvery gray color scheme. So extra precision, it just means the lead is thinner, so 0.5s for those. Then you have the extra sparkle ones, and that's exactly, whoop, where are you going, eraser? The extra sparkle ones, they have that shimmery effect when it comes to the barrel, and those come in 0.7mm leads. Then they have the Ecolution ones, which are basically 65%, I think, yes, 65% recycled pencil. So these are more eco-friendly, using recycled material, and those come in 0.7mm lead as well. Then you have the extra strong ones, and this is where the fun begins, because these are the 0.9mm thick lids, and those are really fun to write with. You can achieve large coverage when you need to do a lot of shading, that sort of thing. And these are the ones that are very flamboyant in coloring, and again sporting the opaque scheme. Another 0.9mm lead that you can find are these yellow barreled ones with a tan tip. They're basically mimicking your traditional yellow pencil. All of these pencils are Scantron certified, so they're good to go. So they're the equivalent of a number 2 pencil. So these are the examples of the very vintage pencils. These were actually made in France. So this is one of the packs, the brand new packs that I was able to find on eBay. And to my surprise, there was actually one with the white clip over here. So these are the full-on black barrels with the black erasers, the crappy erasers. These were the earlier ones. These were the earlier ones with the color-coded eraser holder. Again, white clip over there. And these were also brand new. And then this was the auction. They didn't come in a pack, but they're all brand new. Some of them show a little sign of wear, but that's okay. These are the black and the gray barreled ones. So, an awesome find. So what I like to do with these pencils, I mean, obviously I can't write with all of them at the same time. What I like to do when I get bored of a certain pencil, I just grab a fresh new one. You know, if I feel like I want to write with this color, that's what I do. What I actually did with some of them was, since they are color coded, some of them are loaded with colored leads. So if I have one of these pink or red pencils that is actually loaded with a red lead. I did the same thing with some of the blue ones, so it just gives you more options and more opportunities to further customize your pencils if you so desire. Like I said before, I absolutely love these pencils. I mean, this entire collection actually didn't cost a lot of money. Like I said, I usually get them on sale when it comes to I usually get them on sale when there's a back to school deal going on, or when I find a really good deal online, that sort of thing. They usually come in a variety of packages. I think you can get as few as 5 pencils in a pack, so a 5-pack, all the way to a 60 pencil pack. But the most common ones are usually 24 packs, 10 packs, and they tend to include like 2 free pencils or whatnot. So it's usually a 2-pack or a 12-pack. So that's about it when it comes to these BIC mechanical pencils. And it was sort of a random review that I just sort of came up with as I was using one of the pencils. But I thought, you know, it would be a great opportunity to just, you know, put out another review, give you some of the tips when it comes to these pencils, because I found that a lot of people out there still didn't know that they are in fact refillable. So here you go. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions as to where I got some of the vintage ones, or you just want to talk pencils, shoot me a line and I'll get back to you.